most of my tale. I neither expect nor solicit belief.
But why will you say that I am mad?
Mad? Indeed would I be to expect it, in a case where my very own senses reject their own evidence.
The disease had sharpened my senses, not destroyed and not dulled them.
Yet mad am I not, and very surely do I not dream.
How then am I mad?
For tomorrow I will die, and today I will unburden my soul.
Hearken, and observe how healthfully,
how calmly I can tell you my whole story.
It is impossible to say how first the idea entered her brain, but once conceived, it haunted her day and night.
Object? There was none. Passion? There was none.
The old man was the kindest,
most generous, giving man she had ever encountered.
I loved the old man. He had never wronged me. He had never given me insult. For his gold I had no desire.
And yet, what could have caused this birth of rage? This need to bring an end to this kind, giving, generous man?
I think it was his eye! Whenever it fell upon me, my blood ran cold. So I made up my mind to take the life of the old man, and thus rid myself of the eye forever.
Hello, dear husband. While you're away, I hope you don't mind, but I added to our little family.
My love, we already have birds, a goldfish, a fine dog, some rabbits, a small monkey, what more?
A cat.
Pluto. What's the cat's name?
As time passed, it was apparent the cat was his favorite. He alone fed him and attended him. Pluto is surely your favorite pet and playmate.
Yes, he is. My general temperament and character, well, I blush to confess it, experienced a radical alteration for the worse because of this fiend intemperance. I drank more than I should have, and it caused me to grow day by day, moodier, more irritable, more regardless of the feelings of others.
Dear, why don't you come to bed?
No.
His disease grew, for what disease is like alcohol, and at length his beloved Pluto began to experience the effects.
One night, after returning home from one of his haunts about town, Pluto! Pluto!
Where are you? Come here. You avoided me?
In a flash of violence, the man seized the cat, and in his fright, Pluto inflicted a slight wound upon the man's hand.
You brute! How dare you bite me!
The fury of a demon instantly possessed the man.
I knew myself no longer. I took from my waistcoat pocket a penknife. I opened it, I grasped the poor beast by his throat, and I deliberately cut out one of its eyes from its socket.
It was his eye!
Yes, it was this. It was the old man's eye. The eye of a vulture. A pale blue eye with a hideous film over it. Now this is the point. You fancy me mad? Madmen know nothing.
It was his eye.
But you should have seen me. You should have seen how wisely I proceeded. With what caution, with what foresight, with what dissimulation I went to work.
It was his eye!
Every night, at the same time, the old man entered his room and settled into bed. And at midnight, she turned the latch of his door and opened it.
then, when I had made an opening sufficient for my head, I put in a dark lantern, all closed so that no light shone out. I moved it slowly, very, very slowly, so that I might not disturb the old man's sleep.
It took her an hour to place her whole head within the opening, so far that she could see him as he lay upon his bed.
Ha! What a madman and so wise is this?
She opened the lantern just enough that a single thin ray fell upon the vulture eye.
She did this for 7 long nights, every night, just at midnight.
But I found the eye was always closed, so it was impossible to do the work. For it was not the old man who vexed me, but his evil eye.
And every morning, at the break of day, she went boldly into his chamber and spoke courageously to him.
Good morning, sir. How did you sleep last night?
I slept very well. Thanks for asking, my dear.
I'm glad to hear it.
Upon the 8th night, the woman was more than usually cautious in opening the door.
A watch's minute hand moved more quickly than did mine. Never before this night had I felt the extent of my powers. I could scarcely contain my feelings of triumph.
Who's there?
I kept quite still and said nothing. For a whole hour, I did not move a muscle.
It was not a groan of pain or of grief. Oh no, it was the low, stifled sound that arises from the bottom of the soul when overcharged with awe.
I knew the sound well. It had welled up from my own bosom, deepening with its dreadful echo of the terrors that distracted me. I knew how the old man felt, and I pitied him, although I chuckled at heart.
Is anybody there? Old fool. It is nothing but the wind in the chimney. It is merely a mouse crossing the floor. It's a cricket, which has made a single chirp. Yeah, that's it.
But it is all in vain, because death will soon approach and take you to where you rightfully belong.
And she had waited a long time, very carefully. She resolved to open a little crevice within the lantern. So she opened it, and at length, a single dim red, like the thread of a spider, shot from out the crevice and fell full upon the vulture eye.
It was open!
Wide open! And I grew furious as I gazed upon it!
In the meantime, Pluto slowly recovered. The socket of his lost eye presented, it is true, a frightful appearance. But he no longer appeared to suffer from any pain. He went about life as usual, but it fled in extreme terror at my approach. This behavior soon gave place to irritation.
One morning, in cold blood, the man slipped a noose about the cat's neck and hung it to the limb of a tree.
I hung it with tears streaming from my eyes. I hung it because I know it had loved me. I hung it because it had given no reason of offense. I hung it because I knew that in doing so I was committing a sin, a deadly sin that would so jeopardize my immortal soul as to place it.
On the night of the day which this cruel deed was done,
upon our now destroyed home, my wonder and my terror were extreme. I wondered how this could be, for the cat was in the tree in the yard, not the house. But there it was, the portraiture of my guilt.
For weeks he could not rid himself of the phantasm of the cat that appeared on the wall of his home.
And during this period, there came back into his spirit a half-sentiment that seemed, but was not, remorse.
I went so far as to regret the loss of the animal, and to look about me among the vile haunts which I now habitually frequented, for another pet of the same species and somewhat similar appearance with which to supply Pluto's place.
After a manner of months, the man one night as he sat, half stupefied from his drink, he saw a black object, and it startled him.
Where'd you come from? How curious!
It was a black cat, a very large one, fully as large as Pluto, and closely resembling him in every respect but one.
My love, I never thought I'd find someone to take the place of Pluto, but at last here he is.
What a dear! He not only takes dear Pluto's place, but he very much resembles him, don't you think?
He does. He does. He does. He does. He does. And I think this added to my discomfort for him, for I found a dislike to it arising within me. This was just the reverse of what I had anticipated, but I know not why or how it was.
By slow degrees, I witnessed feelings of disgust and annoyance rising in my husband. He began to avoid the creature. Many times I saw him hold himself back from inflicting physical harm to the cat. His anger was becoming intolerable.
A certain sense of shame and the remembrance of a former deed of cruelty prevented me from physically abusing it. But my hatred was expounded one morning with the discovery that this creature has also been deprived of one of its eyes.
It was his eye.
And I grew furious as I gazed upon it.
Perverseness! To be contrary to what is right or good. Is it primal instinct?
The seed of destruction lurks in us all.
Self-destruction.
But of this spirit, philosophy takes no account. Yet why am I not more sure that my soul lives than that perverseness is one of the primitive human impulses of the heart?
Who has not 100 times found himself committing a silly or vile action for no other reason than he knows he should not? The spirit of perverseness, I say, came to my final overthrow.
It was this unfathomable longing of the soul to vex itself, to offer violence to its own nature,
to do wrong for the wrong's sake only,
I was urged to continue and finally
To consummate the injury I had inflicted upon the
unoffending
unoffending brute.
eye. I saw the eye in perfect distinctness, all a dull blue with a hideous veil over it that chilled the very marrow in my bones. It pushed me to do the unimaginable.
The new cat's constant company, the following of my footfalls, his loathsome caresses pushed me to the brink. I needed to rid myself of the eye forever!
And have I not told you that what you mistake for
For madness is but over-acuteness of the senses?
Now, I say, there came to my ears a low, dull, quick sound, such as a watch makes when enveloped in cotton. It was the beating of the old man's heart.
Meantime, the hellish tattoo of the heart increased.
It grew quicker and quicker and louder and louder.
The old man's terror must have been extreme. It grew louder, louder every moment.
Do you mark me well? I have told you that I am nervous. The beating grew louder, louder. The old man's hour had come.
With a loud yell, she threw open the lantern and leaped into the room. He shrieked once only. In an instant, she took his pillow and placed it over his face. And yet, for many minutes, the heart beat on with a muffled sound.
This, however, did not vex me.
At length, it ceased.
The old man was dead.
Yes, he was stone dead.
She placed her hand upon the heart and held it there many minutes.
There was no pulsation.
He was stone dead. His eye would trouble me no longer. Now, if you still think me mad, you will think so no longer when I describe the wise precautions I took in the concealment of his body.
She took up 4 planks from the flooring of the chamber.
And deposited the body between the scantlings.
She then replaced the boards so cleverly.
So cunningly.
That no human eye could detect anything wrong.
Wrong? What could possibly be wrong? Aren't we lucky after all to have each other?
My love, our house burned down, and we find ourselves living in this horrible building, which unfortunately is the only place our newfound poverty has let us inhabit.
Dear, please, calm down. Why don't we build a fire? Let's go to the cellar and get some wood.
Fine, yes, let's go.
As they began their journey to the cellar, the cat followed closely behind them. The man's exasperation was evident as the cat followed, and the wife tried to allay his unrest. Beneath the pressure of torments such as these, the feeble remnant of the good within the man succumbed. Evil thoughts became his sole intimates, the darkest and most evil of thoughts. The moodiness of his temper increased to hatred of all things and of all mankind.
As we continued to walk down the steep stairs, the cat continued to follow us, and nearly throwing me headlong, exasperated me into madness. Uplifting the axe I had with me to gather our firewood, I aimed a blow at the animal, which, of course, would have proved instantly fatal if it had descended as I wished.
What in the world are you thinking?
The blow was arrested by the hand of my wife. The interference threw me into a rage more than demoniacal.
He withdrew his arm from her grasp and buried the axe in her grave.
She fell upon the spot without a groan. He placed his hand upon the heart and held it there many minutes.
There was no pulsation.
She was stone dead. She will trouble me no longer.
This hideous murder accomplished, he set himself forthwith, and with entire deliberation, to the task of concealing the body.
I could not get rid of it from the house, either by day or by night, without the risk of being observed by the neighbors. I thought of cutting the corpse into minute fragments, but that would prove to be too messy. At another, I resolved to dig a grave for it here in the floor of the cellar, but I finally hit upon what I found to be a far better expedient than either of these. I'll conceal her body in
The walls of the cellar were well adapted and loosely constructed. Moreover, in one of the walls was a projection
Caused by a false chimney or fireplace.
that had been filled up and made to resemble the rest of the cellar.
He displaced the bricks, inserted the corpse,
And walled the hole up, just as before, so that no human eye could detect anything suspicious.
The old man
my wife
was
hidden well. I am satisfied that all is right.
Yet why do I continue to hear the beating of his heart?
Where did that cat disappear to? I will not rest until he has met his death as well.
and few questions by neighbors about the old man.
About my wife's whereabouts were made, but readily answered.
But on the fourth day,
It was 4 o'clock.
as the bell sounded the hour.
I went down to open the door with a light heart.
For what now had I to fear?
Good evening. I'm an officer of the police. I received notification from a neighbor about a missing person.
I just wanted to come by since the complaint had been lodged. I'm here to make a rigorous investigation of the premises.
I smiled, for what now had I to fear? I was secure in the inscrutability
Of my place of concealment, I felt no embarrassment whatsoever. Please do, come in.
And the old man that owns the house, is he here?
Where is your wife? Is she here?
No, not here presently. She...
He is on vacation in the country. Please,
Search for yourself.
Please, accompany me on my search.
They left no nook or corner unexplored.
At length they arrived in.
Which room is this?
This is
his room.
the cellar,
May I enter?
The officers thoroughly searched.
and found nothing at all suspicious.
Why, Well, all looks to be in order here.
I am satisfied.
My manner had convinced them. I was singularly at ease. But ere long, I felt myself getting pale and wished him gone. He had stayed a bit longer than I had wanted.
I quivered not in a muscle. My heart beat calmly as that of one who slumbers in innocence. I walked the cellar end to end and folded my arms across my bosom and easily roamed to and fro. Sir,
I am delighted to have allayed your suspicions.
I wish you health and a little more courtesy.
By the by, sir,
This is a very well-constructed house.
might I say, an excellently well-constructed house.
These walls!
These floors!
Are you going, sir? These walls are solidly put together.
It was a low, dull, quick sound. It was a low, dull, quick sound. It was a low, dull, quick sound. Much such a sound as a watch makes when enveloped in cotton. Was it possible the officer heard it not? Oh, I talked more quickly, more vehemently.
The glee in my heart was too strong to be restrained. I burned to say but one word, by way of triumph, and I rendered doubly sure his assurance of my guiltlessness.
But the noise steadily increased.
Well, everything seems to check out.
Why would they not be gone? I paced the floor to and fro with heavy strides. Almighty God, what could I do?
And through the mere frenzied bravado, I rapped heavily upon that very portion of brickwork behind which stood the corpse of my wife. A sound could be heard.
All is fine. Things check out. Thank you for your time.
The beating and the new sound grew louder, louder, louder!
Wait, don't you want to see more? Look here, nothing to be found. No sooner had the reverberations of my blow sunk into silence, then I was answered by a voice from within the tomb.
Again, was it possible the officer heard it not? Almighty God, no, he heard, he suspected, he knew.
Did he not hear it too? A muffled sound?
I felt as if I must scream or die, and now again, hark!
A continuous scream, utterly anomalous and inhuman, a howl!
A continuous shriek, half of horror, half of triumph!
Only that might have arisen only out of hell!
Louder! Louder! Louder!
Tear down the wall!
Tear up the planks! Here!
I admit the deed! I am guilty!
Guilty. Truth. Madness.
Guilty. Destroy.
Killer. And death.
Why?
Murderer. Evil. Truth. Madness.
Guilty.
Destroy. Killer. And death. Why?
Murder.
Evil. Truth. Madness.
Guilty. Destroy.
Killer. And death.
Why?
Murderer.
Evil. Truth. Madness.
Guilty.
Destroy. Killer. And death. Nervous. Very, very dreadfully nervous I have been in air.
For most of my tale, I neither expect nor solicit belief.
But why will you say that I am mad?
Mad? Indeed would I be to expect it, in a case where my very own senses reject their own evidence.
How then am I mad?
Yet mad am I not, and very surely do I not dream.
Hearken and observe how healthily
How calmly
we can tell you
our whole story.